It's the NFL on EA Sports. And this one features the Saints' superstar tight end. He was historic a week ago, surpassing Shannon Sharp's 2002 mark of 214 yards by a tight end. It's the Saints and the Panthers on Monday night.
EA Sports coverage of the National Football League is in uptown Charlotte, North Carolina at Bank of America Stadium. Tonight, it's the first of two here on this Monday night. As it'll be the New Orleans Saints taking on the Carolina Panthers. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And Charles, we look at this Panther ball club as they interplay here. They come in off a loss in the opener last week. That one was on the road. Now they get their first taste here of home cooking.
And what they're hoping to do is feed off the energy of the home crowd. Great tailgate, great fan support. Let's see if they can put it to good use.
Meanwhile, for the visiting Saints, they were winners last time out, so they'll be looking, Charles, to make it 2 in a row.
And what I enjoyed when I watched their game tape and their victory last week is they put it together in every phase. Good offense, good defense, and some key plays on special teams. Let's see if they can get that second win in a row.
So here are the Panthers set to take over for the first time. And Charles will get a look at the much-heralded rookie Bryce Young, the first overall pick from April's draft.
I think the hope was to let him sit and learn for a bit, but he was thrown right into the fire in week 1. Now we'll see what kind of lessons he's learned as he prepares for his second start in the NFL.
And it's intercepted on the first play of the game. Isaac Yedem picks it, and he will take this one home. It's a touchdown. So a big defensive play there on the opening drive, no less, as they make the interception and bring it back for the score.
And I think that's a signal for how this defense wants to play. They want to be disruptive, and you know they're going to take some chances.
Well, sometimes it can burn you, but right there, it paid off. So they throw the pick six. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. The Panthers coming back out onto the field for their second drive. Now, early on, you know, Charles, every game could be called a measuring stick game. But I think when it comes within your division like this, it's a measuring stick game with a little extra intrigue.
I would agree with that totally because all division games have a little extra to them. But I like where this game is situated because at this stage of the season, it has that little extra juice, but at the same time, it's not a make or break if this were, let's say, week 15, 16, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Now the pressure comes and he goes down. Just inside the 10, back at the 9. Boy, tough spot here as they approach the line of scrimmage. A long way to go to try to pick up this first down. In trouble, and the ball's out. It's in the end zone loose. And this will be scooped up in the end zone. A defender gets there, and it's a touchdown. Here's Groupie for the PAT. And it's good, and they have jumped out here to a quick 14-0 first quarter lead. So not only the cough up, but then the pickup on the other side, the scoop, and the score the other way, the fumble return for a touchdown. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. The Panthers offense here, they get ready to head back on the field. And job one here, Charles, just keep possession of the football. 2 drives, 2 turnovers to this point.
You're exactly right, Doctor. Hippocratic oath. First, do no harm. And right now, they're harming themselves on offense.
I like that. No one is mistaking me for a doctor, though. But thank you, Dr. Davis. Not what they had in mind there. That's going to go as a loss of 4. Well, this defense for the Saints, terrific last week in the season opening victory.
And I think our statistician, we ended up having to bring the blue tent and put it around him for a while because he was developing a hand injury from having to write down all the turnovers this team forced. 5, 6, 7, 8. Absolutely unbelievable. I hope he'll recover.
1 yard is the loss. They back up even further to a 3rd and 15. So Dalton now. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. Oh, and one of the linemen on the other side has got it. Points 1, 2, and 3 in their defensive game plan was to get to the quarterback and knock the ball free. They did it there. Luckily, offense hangs on to it.
Yeah, that's got to serve as a wake-up call, though, because they can't afford to let the ball go over to the defense and miss opportunities. And I'm not saying it happened here, but you know what a good rule of thumb is when a play like that occurs? You know who usually recovers it? The guy who missed his block and let his quarterback get hit.
So here come the Saints to take over for the first time. And here's the new man under center after 9 seasons as a Raider. Derek Carr is the guy.
We talk so much about how coaches script things, especially on offense, to start a season, to start a game, whatever it is. Could they have scripted a better start in terms of playing? Offensive player of the week in the NFC, and his team won their season opener.
Absolutely. Perfect start to the year, but all the talk was, hey, that was week 1. Now we got to move forward.
Let's do it again in week 2. That's what he's told his teammates.
So now, following the big play, they've got a 1st and goal all the way down at the 10. And he's got it. Touchdown, Saints. Keith Kirkwood, his 6th touchdown of the season. And the Saints are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. They scored the most points of anyone on opening weekend, and now first quarter touchdown here.
And while there's no guarantee that all the points they scored in opening weekend are going to hold up and be the average all year long, they're certainly starting to set that type of a pace. And what you do with that is you put in the heads of all of your opponents, we've got to really be ready on defense because these guys know how to put the ball in the end zone.
You think they can keep piling on the points like this?
I think they can if they're prepared to adjust and adapt because they won't see the same defenses week in and week out.
Now the offense for the Panthers here getting the football back. Well, CD, you kind of feel like they're in a bit of a danger zone right here because now you're down 3 scores, and I know we're in the first half, but the way this offense hasn't been able to generate anything, you feel like they probably need to get something going on this. Now he's hit, and Dalton lost the football. But fortunately, he's able to recover his own fumble, or that could have been trouble. Even though he recovered his own fumble, you know how much he hates to put the ball on the ground. He's going to be frustrated with himself.
And what do you think the time frame was from the time the ball escaped his grasp to him getting it back? It didn't take that long, right?
Right.
To him, it probably felt like hours because he's agonizing, like, I've got to get this football back. Able to get it done.
Here's Dalton. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. Oh, and one of the linemen on the other side has got it. And they're going to set up shop at the 27-yard line. This defense, Charles, very opportunistic here early. A 2nd fumble recovery in this first quarter of play.
Yeah, you mentioned the right word, opportunistic and aggressive, because once they got the first fumble recovery,
he'll take it into the end zone for the Saints touchdown. Alvin Kamara, his 12th rushing touchdown on the year, as his guys are able to push that lead out a bit further. So this offensive unit, yeah, they were solid in the opening week victory, and now they are looking just as sharp here in week 2.
And that's exactly what you want, too, because you want to get better each and every week and really ramp up as the season goes on. I know it's still early in the season and a lot can happen, but this offense, they look like they're going to be fun to watch each and every time out.
So this not what we expected. 28-0 here in the first as another kickoff is away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Here's the Carolina offense as they get ready to take over here. They've got to be absolutely reeling right now. Couldn't have expected to be down this big this early. But that's the spot they're in as they come up to try again here. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. Oh, and one of the linemen on the other side has got it. And they will set up shop, red zone territory at the 13-yard line. From the 13 now, they work on 1st and 10. So after the fumble recovery, it's Carr. And he's got him. It's caught in the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans. Jimmy Graham from 13 yards out. And the Saints open the lead up to 34-0. Boy, CD, what a start for them. Still in the first quarter. They're absolutely blitzing them. All the points that they've put up, I'm not sure what you say on the other sideline right now.
I think it's as simple as this, partner. The way that they're playing.
And now before we get to the extra point, remember all touchdowns do have to be confirmed by the replay official. They're taking a peek at whether or not those feet were in bounds, and obviously a big call here in the end zone.
And not just the feet. How about the hands? How's the ball possessed while the feet are hopefully getting down in bounds? That's what they're trying to look at to see if it all comes together.
So they called it a touchdown originally, and this will stay a touchdown after the video review, so they had it right. Groupie able to add the PAT.
And that makes this 35-0 now.
So plenty of fireworks here early. 35-0 now as the kick is away.
And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. And onto the field here come the Panthers.
They find themselves in a good-sized hole here, and a good-sized hole early on in this game as they come up on first down. They'll start on the ground with Hubbard.
And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage.
Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11. Dalton now to pass. He'll get this to the rookie, Jonathan Mingo.
That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield for a deeper route and then breaks it off, usually after about 3 to 4 steps, and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the defender away from the football and give the quarterback a really nice target.
So on fourth down, here's Johnny Hecker to punt it away. Fair catch called. It's taken in right at the 20-yard line. A 41-yard punt there with no return. And the Saints will take over with a first down and 10.
Carr going to lead the Saints up here first and 10.
At their own 21. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive.
He gets this into the hands of Kirkwood.
A good pick up there, 26 yards.
A big hitter to start the drive has him up near midfield here for first and 10.
To throw, it's Carr. And Graham on the grab. He'll get this one down near the 20-yard line, just shy of the 20.
Now a timeout called for by the offense.
They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter. And his kick is good. And that will extend their lead even further.
Well, maybe a little bit of an anxious moment there as that ball got closer and closer, but it does curl in.
Yeah, actually did a little bit of a slow dance there with the left upright, didn't it? But had just enough space, as you said, for it to curl in.
So after the field goal, back out is Groupie to send this one away.
And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line.
The Panthers out there and ready to begin their next drive.
And still no points on the scoreboard. You're coming off of the 3 and out. They're just looking for anything. Now he's hit, and Dalton lost the football.
And one of the linebackers has got it.
And his guys will take over at the 14-yard line in the red zone. The pocket collapsed around him. I know we talk about it a lot, but a QB has to have that sixth sense, doesn't he?
He really does, and I know of one team at one point was training their quarterback.
And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans.
Alvin Kamara
with his second touchdown in this opening quarter.
And the Saints extend their lead yet again. Now, first quarter, and this lead is already getting into dangerous territory. They better be careful on the other sideline.
Yeah, it feels a little bit more like a basketball game where one team is pressing and that team can't get the ball over half court. I mean, it is stealing it and scoring it, layups, the whole deal. That's what it feels like right now. They are all over them.
The point after, good by Groupie.
And the route is on here in this first half.
After the touchdown, here's Groupie to kick this one away.
And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. This Carolina offense at the line, ready to go.
Last time out, they had the fumble. That led to the touchdown. Not a great look on either side of the ball.
Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And this is picked up by the Saints. And he's into the end zone. A fumble return and a Saint touchdown. So that is now 2 fumble return touchdowns. You talk about something that's going to drive a head coach crazy.
Without a doubt. But for the defensive guys, once you do it once, you create a frenzy. Everybody wants to get involved, and they got it done a second time.
Groupie able to add the PAT.
And a route is on here in this first half. An entertaining start to this one. More to come on EA Sports. The Saints with a football here to begin quarter number 2. As they've got it as we resume action. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Here are the Panthers now as their offense comes back out onto the field. They're sort of seeing themselves spiral out of control. Let's see if they can get things back on track.
And this is where the coach is walking that line of being calm and really being firm with his team. I had one tell me once, when we were having a tough patch, this too shall pass, this too shall pass. And finally we kept having a rough patch. He said, but you've got to do something to make it pass. And that's what they have to do. They've got to get some control back.
Now he's hit, and Dalton lost the football. And this is picked up by the Saints. So they take over not only in enemy territory, but in the red zone at the 16-yard line. He was under duress, surveying, trying to find somebody to get the ball out of his hands. In the meantime, the defense, they took it out of his hands.
And when the ball snapped, I know exactly what the defense is thinking. Get a sack, put him on the ground. But when you can also knock the ball free while doing so, there's the bonus for you as a defender.
49 yards rushing for him now with a couple of touchdown runs to boot. Ball on the 8, 2nd and 2. Here's Carr to throw. And he's got it. Touchdown, Saints. 3rd touchdown pass now for Derek Carr. And the Saints continue to pull away here in this first half.
You got it figured down by the goal line. This is where a tight end earns his money, in the high traffic area. And he's able to work free in the middle of the end zone and grabs that one for a touchdown.
Groupie for the extra point.
And the route is on here in this first half. Well, that drive started with not a whole lot of real estate in front of them. In plus territory, excellent field position. 2 plays later, pay dirt.
After the touchdown, here's Groupie to kick this one away.
And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. Now the Panthers offense, they get set to come back onto the field. Now they've sort of lost their way, partner. How do they recalibrate and get this proverbial train back on track?
Well, this is where leadership really comes in.
Oh, he put it on the carpet, a fumble. And this is picked up by the Saints. And they will take over at the 26-yard line.
Whenever I see a team turn it over on back-to-back drives, fumbles on their last 2, I know one person's blood pressure who is starting to rise, and that's the head coach.
Absolutely. And when's it going to go down? When they stop fumbling?
When they stop fumbling and after he's assessed the game film. And
touchdown, Saints. Keith Kirkwood with our 2nd touchdown of the game, number 7 on the year. And the Saints are pouring it on.
What a first half he is compiling here. He's already over 100 yards receiving and now 2 touchdowns, CD.
Brandon, you know I don't like to play the game where you start projecting when you're at a certain point. But let's face it, he's off to a tremendous start. So 200 yards, 4 touchdowns. I don't think anything's out of the question right now. He's blowing up coverages. You've got to double him every snap. Otherwise, he's going to defeat you on almost every play.
The point after, good by Groupie.
And a route is on here in this first half. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line.
Here comes Chuba Hubbard. Let's take a closer look at him.
They haven't been able to get him on track. They haven't been able to get this offense on track. No points so far.
Maybe it's time to start doing a few different things. Throwing the ball a little bit. Maybe featuring other people touching it for a while. And then you got a chance to...
Now he's hit, and Dalton lost the football. And he's touchdown.
Well, Charles, I mean, things just seem to be getting worse and worse for one sideline. Or flip it over after that fumble return for a touchdown. Better and better on the opposite end. What an impressive first-half performance.
And, partner, I know the saying in the NFL goes that no lead is safe. But I will say that this one seems pretty secure. And if we continue to see plays like that, I'm going to switch back and say this lead is safe.
And you can bet they're preaching two hands on the ball here as the kick's away following that fumble return. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. The Panthers about ready to take over. They are looking to make a bit of a 180. They are sputtering right now.
And frankly, I think it's time to call your playmakers together and say, all right, guys, we're going to lean on you through this patch. We need you to get us back on track and get us going in the right direction. So you're calling plays geared to them. Not necessarily what you look at your plays, oh, this hurts the defense. I want the ball in the hands of X, Y, and Z and see if we can move forward.
So don't get too cute. Go to the playmakers. Third down, now even tougher. 3rd and 13 after that loss of a yard. And not an easy spot here. They'll be in search of 13 yards to try to pick up the first. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football.
Oh, and one of the linemen on the other side has got it.
Dangerous spot for them to cough it up. Lucky to have recovered because had the defense gotten it, they were already within a shadow of the goalpost.
Yeah, and then you're yelling at your own defense. Sudden change, sudden change. That's not what you want to hear on your sideline. That means you got to run out there and try and stop an offense who has the ball in a very advantageous position.
First of all, face mask. Defense.
Get off the...
Yeah, we saw that from up here, CD. A tug on the face mask, and the flag comes out.
And we saw that last week they had some defensive miscues like that. And they told us that they had worked hard on it in practice and thought they had it all cleaned up. But obviously the message hasn't really sunk in.
This is caught. Touchdown, New Orleans. Jimmy Graham on his way to a monster game. 3 first-half touchdowns.
And the Saints have got it on cruise control.
So not only is that his 3rd touchdown catch of the game, he's done it here in the first half.
I'm not sure defensively what they're going to come up with to slow him down, because already we're seeing him run past, over, through guys in order to make these catches. And being able to try and shut him down at this stage of the game, it's going to take a lot of effort. So maybe it'll open things up for some other people.
Well, they better figure something out, and soon. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. The Panthers offense here, they get ready to head back on the field. And I would say they went 3 and out last time, but actually they didn't even get to 3 and out. Still a strange decision to us here in the... Now he's hit, and Dalton lost the football. And this is picked up, and he's into the end zone. A fumble return, and a Saint touchdown.
Here's Groupie for the PAT.
And the route is on here in this first half. The scoop and score, always an exciting play in football, and we witnessed it there. Grabbing it off the ground and then rumbling it into the end zone for 6. So here's the kickoff now as they'll get it again following that fumble return for a score. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. The Carolina offense about ready to go.
And in just about every game we see, partner, what do we do when we look at the stat sheet? We go right to
the turnover differential.
Without a doubt, because when we see that pretty much...
Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And this is picked up by the Saints. And he's into the end zone. A fumble return and a Saint touchdown. And give some kudos to the defensive coordinator, I think, here. They bring the blitz, they dial it up, and it turns into 6 points for them.
It's so nice to hear you actually give kudos to the defense. It is so nice you're such an offensive guy like that. I love it. He dialed things up, and boy, a big play resulted for his guys.
Well, you like the credit to the defense there, right, my friend?
Yeah, do I ever?
And you can bet they're preaching two hands on the ball here as the kick's away following that fumble return. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line.
The possession of the football goes over to Carolina. And they have done themselves absolutely no favors to earn a win today in this one, Charles. The turnover woes continue. On that last drive, they had that fumble that led to a touchdown.
And Brandon, I would say they have a mission on this drive, and the bottom line is protect the football. Just put together something that they can let the last drive go. Yeah, it was a bad play. They gave up points, but that doesn't mean it has to go that way the rest of this ball game.
They're trying to find Sharp, but it's intercepted. Picked off by Marshawn Lattimore. And he will take this one home. It's a touchdown. Well, that's what you get, apparently, when you try to take on a Pro Bowl cornerback. I mean, what a play there to make the interception and also bring it back for 6.
And he is so good that we've seen teams absolutely stay away from throwing the ball at him. Here, he's just reading the quarterback's eyes the entire way, makes a great play on the football, and turns it into 6.
Groupie for the extra point.
And the route is on here in this first half. So the defense creating some points, not only getting the interception, but then returning it to the end zone for the pick 6. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick 6, and now the kick is away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. Carolina getting set to take the field.
And not the first time that they're coming back out off of a turnover, but the last one really hurt Charles with that pick 6.
And it feels like the whole team's infected right now, doesn't it? It's not just been one person. It's kind of been a group effort where the mistakes have happened. Can they put that aside, kind of start over, and put together a nice drive?
Coming up at halftime, I'll go from one personality, that's you, Charles Davis, to another one in Orlando, the coach. He'll have stats and scores from around the NFL. You and Jonathan Coachman both larger than life.
No doubt about it.
But you're stuck with me in this booth,
yes,
and he's miles away and smiling.
And happy.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. They'll run out of the gun. It's Hubbard. And not too much going there as he'll get it up to the 23-yard line. Just a 2-yard pickup, and that should necessitate a call for the punt team here on 4th down. So on now is Johnny Hecker to punt this one away. Now fair catch is called for and taken at the, we'll call it the 37-yard line. It'll wind up just a 35-yard punt, no return.
And they will take over 1st and 10. The New Orleans offense back out and ready to go. Well, partner, you know, coaches always say that every play is designed to score a touchdown. Sometimes that's not really true, but last drive, that was the case. One play.
And now off to the races down the right side. A big-time play there for New Orleans. 44 yards.
Well, he worked his way quite a bit in this first half, and with good reason. You can see it there. He is such a handful defensively. Just too hard to keep him under wraps. He delivers a big play.
And he's got him. It's caught in the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans. Keith Kirkwood on his way to a monster game. 3 first-half touchdowns.
And the Saints will extend their lead in the final minute of the half.
They have really had their way so far in the first half, but they wanted to continue to build on their lead. They know that no lead is safe in this league, so they decided to try their best to get one more as they headed into the half, and they got it done.
Groupie able to add the PAT.
And the route is on here in this first half.
After the touchdown, here's Groupie to kick this one away.
And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback.
The Panthers going to go back on offense here late in this first half. Things for them, just to put it bluntly, man, it has been tough sledding here in the first half, facing that big deficit. The clock is dwindling now. Maybe if they can get something on the board here before intermission, they'll have at least a little momentum heading into the second half.
Now the Panthers going to use the first of their timeouts as they stop it with 28 seconds to go in the first half of play. Now he's hit, and Dalton lost the football. And this is picked up by the Saints. And he's into the end zone. A fumble return and a Saint touchdown. So the big fella gets on the scoreboard with a return for a touchdown. Good thing he didn't have to go too far, though.
You know the trainers were very happy about that. Imagine having to go get him in the end zone, escort him to the bench, and give him the oxygen. They were loving the fact that he got in without having to run very far.
A point after, good by Groupie.
And the route is on here in this first half. So here's the kickoff now as they'll get it again following that fumble return for a score. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback.
The Panther offense going to see the ball one more time in this first half.
And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
Throwing on first down, but this one winds up to be incomplete. An incomplete pass leads to 2nd and 10 from the 25. Not wanting to take a chance this time, they'll keep it on the ground. And he'll push forward here for a good little run as the clock continues to run. The Panthers going to use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop it with 13 seconds to play in half number 1. Now a third down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete.
Not many boos just yet from this home crowd, but they may be starting soon as I'm starting to detect an uneasy murmur through this crowd. This offense, they've been lifeless in this first half. And now here's another punting situation and a 4th down.
Yeah, call it 38 yards on the punt, no return. And there'll be time for maybe one final play before halftime. The Saints offense on the field ready to get their drive started. The final shot here before half for Carr. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete. So we are at halftime here on a Monday night, as we'll get you down the coast to Orlando for Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. We'll get back to you and Charles in a minute. But first, time to give the folks at home a look at what's going on around the NFL. We'll get started over at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in downtown Atlanta, where it was the Falcons who were able to pick up the victory at home. Desmond Ridder, a touchdown pass in the victory. From there, let's head off and check out a second game. And they were winners in that one over the visiting New York Giants. James Conner, over 100 yards in the victory with 2 touchdown runs as well. Finally, let's get to Philadelphia. Check on the Eagles at home at Lincoln Financial Field. And they were winners in that one over the visiting Minnesota Vikings. DeAndre Swift, a touchdown run in the victory. For the Saints, this is why they signed him. They got a strong performance from their quarterback, Derek Carr. He had a half for the ages, touchdown pass after touchdown pass. He threw a month's worth of touchdowns in just those first 2 quarters of play. Final adjustments being made for the second half. Whether they'll amount to much in a game that's already pretty well decided, well, that's another question. Nevertheless, let's get you back out to Brandon and Charles.
And all in all, a pretty solid return. Nearly got it to the 35. They'll mark him down officially at the 34.
So here are the Saints to take over. They were winners last week over Tennessee, and they've got the lead here as well. They start this drive out 1st and 10. Play action. Now it's Carr. Lets this one rip toward Graham. It's caught inside the 25. Touchdown, New Orleans. Jimmy Graham, 66 yards.
And the Saints just continue to roll.
Groupie able to add the PAT. And the lead grows even larger here in the third quarter.
After the touchdown, here's Groupie to kick this one away.
And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. The Panthers offense now, they head back on the field for their first possession of the second half.
Check white. Stand.
On first down, they'll start out with Hubbard. And boy, this defense again really making things tough on him as they stop him for no gain.
We'll get a pause here. There. Who was shaken up on that last play. While they come out and take a look at him, we will step aside for just a moment. Oh, Young loses it. Oh, and one of the linemen on the other side has got it.
And they take over already 5 yards deep into the red zone at the 15-yard line.
Every week we hear talk about create turnovers. In particular, they wanted to force some fumbles. They got one right there.
And it shows you how the game has changed over time. It used to be good enough.
And he'll take it into the end zone for the Saints touchdown.
Alvin Kamara.
A 15-yard touchdown run. And the Saints are able to capitalize on the forced fumble by turning it into 6 points.
I'll tell you what, Charles, I know that you don't put a ton of stock into power rankings and things of that nature, but another score here, and 2 weeks into the season, this is maybe the most impressive team in the NFL. Would you agree?
Well, they've certainly sold me as they've sold you, and I agree with you. No question about it. They won easily last week. They're on their way to another lopsided victory here. They're definitely a team to be reckoned with, and they are serving notice to the rest of the league.
After the touchdown, here's Groupie to kick this one away.
And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback.
Now the offense for the Panthers here getting the football back. Well, we're still in the third quarter, so there's some time to kind of clean this up and make it look more respectable. Now, a win, that's probably gone out the window, Charles, but I don't know. Do you look at this as a time to just improve and maybe start to look towards the future?
I think you have to find something to play for, something to grasp onto until the clock runs out. But, Brandon, we've been around this game a long time. This is an outlier. You don't get many blowouts like this no matter how the game looks on paper going in. This one has turned out to be everyone's worst nightmare realized.
These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. To throw, Young. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And this is picked up by the Saints. And that will set him up in excellent shape. 1st and goal at the 9-yard line.
The defense, they were swarming that time and ultimately got to him before he could get rid of the football and knocked it free.
And don't you feel just a little bit of sympathy for him back there, though?
And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans.
Alvin Kamara.
A 9-yard touchdown run.
And the Saints get another third-quarter touchdown to add on to that lead. So the rushing touchdowns continue to stack up, CD. That now 15 for him on the year.
And give him a ton of credit for staying healthy, being a smart runner, and it's showing just how important he's been to his team. He's got to be their MVP at this point in the season, and those votes may even turn into league MVP votes when it's all said and done.
A point after, goodbye Groupie.
And the lead grows even larger here in the 3rd quarter.
After the touchdown, here's Groupie to kick this one away.
And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Here come the Panthers now, set to take over on offense.
Well, this has been a tough one for them, Charles. They've struggled really on both sides of the football. And one thing that's really plagued them, the turnovers. They've had issues keeping the football in their possession.
In every game that's ever been played, coaches talk about taking care of the football and limiting turnovers. And in this one, after we saw that first turnover, we worried that things would snowball, and it certainly did, especially on the scoreboard.
2nd down, another chance for Hubbard.
And he'll be brought down shy of the 40 at the 38-yard line.
That one a 1st down pickup of 8.
Young. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And this is picked up by the Saints. And they're going to set up shop at the 27-yard line. And now 3 drives, 3 fumbles.
What's amazing about it is when we go around and watch practices, how many times do we see them put that sleeve over a football now to make it more slippery and hard to handle? It's almost like they're playing with that sleeve on the ball right now. Was it 3 drives?
Yep.
3 fumbles?
3 fumbles.
It's time to change our luck some way, somehow. Focus, concentration. You'll hear those words on the bench in a big way right now.
Wide open receiver complete. Touchdown. Jimmy Graham. 27 yards.
And the Saints take the forced fumble and convert it into 6 points. A familiar refrain, a turnover leads to a touchdown, and that lead grows even wider now here in this third quarter.
Yeah, partner, I'd say there are a lot of grins breaking out on that sideline because, let's face it, they came in thinking they were in for a real fight in this game, but this one's been about as one-sided as we've seen in a while. In addition, if you're a backup, time to start stretching and loosening up. You may get some playing time in this one.
After the touchdown, here's Groupie to kick this one away.
And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. And the Panthers coming out now.
The disparity in this game, it just seems to grow with each possession here, Charles. They are really struggling. They have not put up a single point, and on the other side, the points keep piling up and up and up.
So you know the frustration level has to be rising, right? So they've got to find a way to quell that because otherwise they certainly won't get anything done in this one. Keep diving deeper into the offensive playbook, but bottom line is don't quit competing.
Meanwhile, Young's throw taken in by Chark.
So the completion results there in 9 yards. And that's going to make it 3rd down and less than a yard.
They'll try and run for this with Hubbard.
And he's able to get the first before he's taken down at the 36.
Now a timeout here, at least for the moment. Looks like one of the Saints is injured, shaken up on that last play. The medical staff will attend to him, and we will step aside.
Yeah, boy, this defense again really making things tough on him as they stop him for no gain.
His carries tonight, they're getting up there, so maybe one of those every now and then is understandable.
I would agree with that. Understandable every now and then. Sometimes you come back and you fake it to him and go play action.
Oh, Young loses it. Oh, and one of the linemen on the other side has got it.
And they have the football and will take over at the 24-yard line.
Always costly to cough up that football. These defenders, they become so adept, though, at jarring it free.
Yeah, it's amazing that there aren't more fumbles caused because now, if you're an offensive player, you go through ball security drills every.
Touchdown, Saints! Jimmy Graham, a 24-yard touchdown.
And the Saints are able to capitalize on the forced fumble by turning it into 6 points. Groupie able to add the PAT.
And the lead grows even larger here in the third quarter.
After the touchdown, here's Groupie to kick this one away.
And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line.
The Panthers now set to take over offensively. It's a game that they would rather probably forget about, at least to this point, Charles. And one reason is turnovers. A turnover on the last drive. They had the issue in the first half as well, and that's really, unfortunately for them, helped to put this game out of reach.
And you know they won't admit it to themselves, but we know that winning the game is pretty much out of the picture now. So their bottom line is, how do they play a clean game the rest of this one, right? Take care of the football, no more turnovers, and see how that works.
And only able to get 2 here, stopped at the 30. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. Young to throw it.
Able to find the open man. That's complete. Down the right sideline.
And finally wrestled down at the 8-yard line. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
They'll run here with Hubbard.
And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. A full 5-yard loss that time. It's going to make 2nd down pretty tough.
Again, it'll be Hubbard.
And he'll get this one down to about the 10-yard line. Only a couple yards there, and that's going to set up a long 3rd and goal.
from the shotgun. It's Young staying on his feet. But now he's swallowed up and taken down. Zach Ball drops him for a loss of 10, and it's going to be 4th and long. So with a 4th and goal looming, we hit the end of 3 quarters of play. This is the National Football League on EA Sports. And we're back now in Charlotte. And this is a blowout so far as we get set for the 4th quarter. A very one-sided affair. Well, it's a Pyrrhic victory at best, but Charles, no team wants to get shut out, so it's hard to blame them for taking the 3 there.
You can't blame them one bit. It hasn't been the best performance, that's for darn sure. But there is something to be said for fighting to avoid the goose egg, and they're at least trying to finish out strong.
The lane opens here. He's past the 30. It's a foot race, and they are not going to catch him. He's in. Touchdown, Saints. Well, when coaches come into a game preaching total team effort, CD, I think this is the type of ball game that they're dreaming of. It was pretty apparent early on that they were clicking in all 3 phases. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah, sometimes in the NFL you end up with matchups like we've been watching here. And when you go back through the early drives, you can just see that one squad was on a different level in this game. Safe to say, we have been disappointed in watching their execution throughout this contest.
And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. Here are the Panthers now as their offense comes back out onto the field. Well, it's been a struggle so far for this offense, Charles. It's not only that they haven't been able to put the points up, but really stringing yards together has been a real issue for them in this one.
I'm so glad you brought up the yardage because I was thinking to myself, we've seen a lot of NFL games and we've seen our share of lopsided contests, but in almost all of them, both offenses put up at least 200 yards in a game, but not in this one. This has been a display of offense that, frankly, I think the two of us have watched from behind our hands, trying to spread our fingers wide enough to actually see the result.
Young on 3rd down. And that will be incomplete.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
Fair catch signaled for and taken just shy of the 30-yard line. So a change of possession here on the punt. And that will come the offense as they take over. The New Orleans offense set to take over. Well, they don't really need the points here, Charles, given what we're looking at on the scoreboard, but they've scored on 3 consecutive possessions, 3 consecutive drives, and I'm sure that they would like to keep that streak going here and continuing to pull it on.
And things have gotten that way in the NFL, haven't they, partner? Because in the old days, people would, they'd get off the gas a little bit, right? But now, people continue to accelerate, but we'll see what they decide to do as they come out for this one. But the way that this game has gone, they've got to be awfully happy with their execution overall.
Oh, he's got it wide open, complete. Touchdown. Keith Kirkwood, 29 yards. And the Saints are on their way to a 2-0 start. The point after, good by Groupie. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to that big lead. After the touchdown, here's Groupie to kick this one away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Here's the Carolina offense as they get ready to take over here. Where we stand right now in the 4th quarter, this one pretty much out of reach. And, Charles, I know they're going to be disappointed about several things with this ball game, but the self-inflicted wounds, they've had several turnovers. You would have to think that's going to be something they're going to discuss heavily in the film session in the coming days.
You're absolutely right about that, partner, because they're going to have to sit in that film room and watch every error that they made and figure out how to not do it in the future. And mentally, I think a lot of the guys are already starting to think about, okay, how do we put this behind us and get better for the next time out? This, they'll use as motivation for the rest of the time that they play to hopefully never be in this type of situation again.
Oh, Young loses it. And this is picked up by the Saints. And he's into the end zone. A fumble return and a Saint touchdown. So the big fella gets on the scoreboard with a return for a touchdown. Good thing he didn't have to go too far, though.
You know the trainers were very happy about that. Imagine having to go get him in the end zone, escort him to the bench, and give him the oxygen. They were loving the fact that he got in without having to run very far.
Groupie able to add the PAT. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to that big lead. And you can bet they're preaching two hands on the ball here as the kick's away following that fumble return. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. Now the Panthers offense, they get set to come back onto the field. We said it at halftime that they would need a nearly perfect second half to erase that deficit that they were facing, CD. But unfortunately, the second half has pretty much been a carbon copy of the first.
Yeah, that early lead was almost insurmountable the way their opponent was playing. And, partner, they do have some good news, though. This one is getting close to being over, and they can try and hit the reset button starting tomorrow.
Young. And the timing a bit off that time as that one falls to the ground.
At this point in the game, they've got to continue to try anything they can. They're still working at it, even though this one feels like a lost cause.
On third down, here's a run by Hubbard. And he will pound the first down, but he winds up taking a pretty good shot that time. And that gain of 9 buys them a new set of downs. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Here's Young from the shotgun. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And this is picked up by the Saints. And they have the football and will take over at the 24-yard line. And I don't know that that fumble is going to matter a whole lot. You look at the deficit here in the fourth. It doesn't matter. The coach on the sideline still scratching his head. Yeah, not only scratching his head, but probably writing a note or two about, we're going to address this come practice next week. Touchdown, Saints. Keith Kirkwood, a 24-yard touchdown. And the Saints add 6 more to their point total, and they're on cruise control right now here in the fourth. Well, Charles, just impressive in all 3 phases. Offense, defense, special teams have really done their job, and here the offense doing its part yet again with another score in the fourth quarter. I know it seems like something we shouldn't do because the scoreboard does tell it all, but let's set it aside for a moment. This game was absolutely memorable with how they played it. Really terrific effort, really well executed. Congratulations to them. The point at. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to that big lead. After the touchdown, here's Groupie to kick this one away. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. The Panthers offense here, they get ready to head back on the field. Right now, they're in a bit of a tough spot here, CD. You trail them by double digits. Remember the last time out, they fumbled. They're going to have to play some clean football here on this possession. And all the talk on their sideline has been about taking care of the football, making sure that they're handling the ball correctly. So you know they'll be squeezing the rock pretty tight here. They just have to be careful not to go so hard in doing that they actually cause themselves other problems. Take care of the ball, but still try to play free and down. Oh, Young loses it. Oh, and one of the linemen on the other side has got it. We always hear a lot of veterans on the defensive side of the football. They talk about smelling blood in the water, putting pressure on a rookie. They got to him there to force it free, but couldn't recover it. And you mentioned the pressure. Rookie quarterback, you're going to bring more pressure to him at all times because you don't know how he's going to hold up. He was fortunate there. Luck was on his side, able to recover that fumble. Here's Johnny Hecker now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. And a fair catch taken here right at about the 40-yard line. So possession goes over here on the punt. And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over. Out onto the field comes New Orleans. Well, CD, we are witnessing something that I never thought that I would witness. I would imagine you never thought this too. I mean, we have a team taking the field in an NFL game, and they are up by triple digits. I mean, 50 is a lot, but to get to over 100, this is just crazy.
We've seen in the history of the game of basketball a few people score 100 points individually, men and women. But we've never seen this before in NFL history. We've only seen two teams combine for 100 points in a game 5 times in league history. One of the greatest games ever played, well, by one of the teams anyway.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10. To throw his car. Pass taken in by his big tight end. And they will touch him down, but not before he gets the first. A really nice gain of 25 yards. So it's Saints football as we get you reset. And they have just about put this one on ice as they've got it here, 1st and 10. Being chased out left. And they'll be inside the 25 now at the 24. He'll get 10 there all on his own, but it'll be 2nd down. Carr gonna throw here. And that almost their first INT of the ball game. Had his sights on it, but he couldn't seal the deal. An incomplete pass on 2nd down leads us to 3rd and inches. Now Carr. Buying time to his left. Escapes the defender. And down inside the 15 he goes. Carr can beat you in a lot of ways. The scramble there, a perfect example as he gets the first. This offense really looking polished these first couple of weeks. Here's 1st and 10. And give him another 6. It's caught for a touchdown, and the blowout continues. Looking like they're well on their way to a 2-0 start. All smiles right now on that sideline, isn't it?
As well there should be. It's hard to win a game in the NFL. We hear it all the time. We know that it's difficult. But guess who's smiling? But inside is thinking 24-hour rule because we're going to have to play again next week.
Boss man.
Oh, without a doubt. The head coach, he wants them to feel good, but at the same time, find a way to keep improving.
Groupie able to add the PAT. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to that big lead. After the touchdown, here's Groupie to kick this one away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. The Carolina offense about ready to go. Well, CD, it's all window dressing at this point. I mean, the best they can do is end the game with a nice drive to maybe build some momentum to move forward into their next. Oh, Young loses it. Oh, one of the linemen on the other side has got it. And they will have the football deep in enemy territory all the way at the 10-yard line. Well, they probably don't need to run a play here, but you wonder if they're going to be able to resist on 1st and goal. Following the fumble recovery, Carr. Looking end zone, but it's incomplete. Well, let's face it, not a lot left for them to prove in this game, but they're still throwing the football. I guess, of course, CD, you know, you could always get the backup some work. There's new plays to try out. But some people, let's face it, they just want to run the score up. It's fun.
I love the way that you express that because you gave.
And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly.
You get in a 2nd and long situation down here in the red zone. I'd say most defensive coaches would think pass. Let's bring some pressure. So this is kind of a tendency breaker here. To hit him with something on the ground, and he'll take it all the way into the end zone.
A point after, good by Groupie. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to that big lead. After the touchdown, here's Groupie to kick this one away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. The possession of the football goes over to Carolina. They are just obviously getting shellacked here in this one, Charles. What's the message if you're a coach for this final drive in a lopsided game like this?
For a lot of coaches,
be honest.
don't forget today. Don't forget what has happened out here.
Use that.
Take a great look at that scoreboard, realize how poorly everything went for us today, coaching, playing, the whole deal, and never forget it, because
you're not going to want that feeling.
No, you don't want that feeling again, and who knows, you may meet up with this team again.
Well, the trials and tribulations of being a quarterback in this league, it's tough. It's got to be wearing on him out there.
Well, he has been sacked a number of times. He had an interception, so I'm going to give him a skosh of credit for hanging in there.
Now he's hit, and Dalton lost the football.
And this is picked up by the Saints. And good field position coming up here. The football at the 12-yard line.
All right, you've had to put up with me in this booth. I'm going to try and be simple this time and succinct. It simply has not been their night.
No, I think that fumble's kind of indicative of how this whole evening's going, isn't it? And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals.
Well, when they said before the game that they were going to try and execute every second of this contest, I guess that was taken literally, because here they are in the final moments of the fourth, putting another touchdown on the board, Charles, to add to this big lead.
I'm not a big believer in 110%, but it certainly applies here, doesn't it? Because some guys just can't go with less. As long as there's time left on the clock, they're pushing to get to the end zone one more time. They don't really care about what the optics show. They just want to finish the game off the way that they like to play it. Full speed, all out.
After the touchdown, here's Groupie to kick this one away.
And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. Carolina getting set to take the field. They've lost this one. Their offense has struggled. Do they try to put together something here at the end just to take into next week?
Yeah, sometimes teams want to do that and coaches want to. I remember one time I was on a team and we were losing late in a game like this, and you knew it was lost. It was over, right? And the coach called a running play and pretty much said to everyone, I want to see something executed well before we get out of here. And that was the message to the team.
Just something to build.
Just something to build.
Nowhere to go here. He lost the football.
And now this ball picked up by the offense. But here in the final 2 minutes of the game, this will be blown dead. Only the fumbler can advance the football. So this will go back to the spot of the fumble itself. And as this defense walks off the field, they can do so with their heads held high.